Are you tired of ruining your back and your knees when you could be building the glutes of your dreams? Well, I'm Paris Demers, your very own YouTube personal trainer, and today I'm going to be breaking down the squat into 3 easy to follow steps, as well as showing you how to overcome 3 of the biggest squat mistakes that I see in the gym every single day. Let's get into the training.
Step number 1 is figuring out your squat stance. As a baseline, get your feet just outside of shoulder width apart with a 30-degree toe out angle, but you're your own person, so you're going to want to experiment with this and figure out what works best. For step number 2, we're going to engage the hips while keeping the core nice and strong. Imagine that your spine has been welded together as you move those hips back, because we want everything moving as a unit. You can see here that if I just stick my butt back, I look extra thick, but I lose all the tension in my core, and this is also going to ruin our technique down the line. Like I said, my core is not engaged, so as I go down to the bottom of my squat, you can see my butt winks under a little bit. This is a common reason for back pain in the squat. If this step is giving you trouble, go ahead and grab something straight and put it along your back. Try to maintain pressure on each one of these points as you move those hips backwards and adjust until you can get them all right. Step number 3, now we're actually going to squat. Think about sitting straight down in between the heels while maintaining the tension in your core, and then drive using the legs back up into that starting position. You're going to want to avoid going so low that the heels lift up and your butt completely curls under.
All right, so to summarize, first we're going to set your stance. Next, we're going to engage the hips while keeping the core stacked. And finally, we're going to sit straight down between the heels and then use the legs to drive back up into the top position. Now, let's fix some of the biggest mistakes that you might be facing.
Mistake number 1 is improper balance. You don't want too much weight in the front of your foot or too much weight in the back, more towards the heels. Either way, this will cause you to lose your balance and pretty much make it impossible to have good technique. Don't be like me. To fix this, we're going to start at your base of support, your feet. You're going to spread the toes out and grab the ground. Next, we're going to turn the foot into a tripod by thinking about having 2 points of pressure in the front and 1 point of pressure in the back of the foot. Especially when you're new to squatting, you want to make sure that you're constantly checking in to make sure you're maintaining this tripod foot throughout the entire movement. Number 2 is a classic mistake, and that's letting your knees collapse as you're squatting. You don't want to end up on one of those gym fail YouTube videos. To fix this, we're going to think about being a little bit more active as we're squatting. Start by screwing your feet into the ground. You should feel a strong squeeze in the glutes at the top here if you're doing it right. Next, maintain that tension out as you sit down into the bottom of the squat, forcing the knees out to the sides, tracking in line with the first toe from the big toe. If those knees still aren't behaving, go ahead and grab a band, toss it above the knees, and push out on it during the entire movement. The third biggest mistake that I always see is rushing through the squat. I know you're excited to squat, but you want to make sure that you're taking your time so that you can focus on all the key points that we've discussed so far. Move slowly while you're squatting. This will let you savor every single moment, as well as letting you think about how your technique's doing. You're losing your balance, you're losing that tripod foot, you're losing your tension. If you move too quickly, you won't be able to feel these things, especially if you're new. Once you've mastered these steps, you can go ahead and apply them to any type of squat you want. Quite literally any kind.
Okay, so that's it for today's video. Remember to subscribe for more, and what's that? You followed all the steps, but you're still having trouble with the squat? Let's not panic. It's gonna be all right. You better go to this video right away, and I'll see what I can do to help.
You still having trouble with the squat? Okay. Okay.